A stray dog just carried her dying puppy through the rain to a veterinary clinic. The puppy lived. Animals trust us with their babies. Scientists still don't know why. This is not a pet story. Across cities and forests, wild mothers sometimes do something that breaks the survival script. They do not only tolerate us nearby, sometimes they bring us their babies. A raccoon named Roxy has done it for years. When Brittany bought a house that already had a wild raccoon on the property, she did not expect a tradition. But every year, Roxy returns with a new litter and introduces her babies to the same human family. Raccoons remember faces, roots, and outcomes. Coming back with newborns is not a twitch. It is a repeated decision. That pattern matters, because the deepest version of it is quieter and harder to explain. A woman had been feeding a squirrel for months. She built her a safe nest. She became a familiar shape in the squirrel's map of risk and reward. Then the mother approached her in a way that still freezes people who watch the footage. The squirrel sniffs the woman's fingers. She clasps them, gently, deliberately, and begins to lead. The woman follows, half laughing, half unsure. They move toward the nest. Inside, newborn squirrels. Tiny, blind to friend and threat. The mother looks up as if the moment needs a witness. This actually happened. The clip spread on X in December 2023. Comment sections did what they do. Cute, wholesome, unbelievable. Underneath is a colder fact. Squirrels are prey. Their reproductive strategy depends on concealment. A nest is not a showroom. It is a secret. The wrong attention can end a litter in a night. Evolution does not hand out bonus points for sharing. And yet, this mother revealed the most expensive secret she had to a human. She had every ancestral reason to treat that hand as danger. Instead, she used it as a guide rail to her young. That is the moment this video is about. Not animals are wholesome. A prey animal calculated the room, the history, the risk, and decided a person belonged inside the circle where babies are allowed to exist. Once you see that decision, other cases stop looking like random miracles. They start looking like variations on one question: who is safe enough to hold the future? In January 2025, in Beylikdüzü, Istanbul, cameras caught a free-ranging dog walking through hard rain with a hypothermic puppy in her mouth. She carried him to the doorstep of the Beylikdüzü Alpha Veterinary Clinic. She set him down. She waited. Technician Emir moved fast. Veterinarian Baturalp Doğan later described the puppy as cold as ice, then a faint heartbeat. Adrenaline. A hairdryer against hypothermia. The mother did not bolt. The puppy lived. Doğan learned she had given birth to 6. Only 2 survived. She had already seen humans help another of her young that day. She navigated to a door she had reason to believe could change an outcome. Hold that story in the right category. A dog that lives among people is not the same test as a wild prey mother opening her nest. Istanbul is deliberate help-seeking under pressure. The squirrel is rarer, a wild animal inviting a human into the vault. Domestic cats sit further inside our sphere. Some will not deliver kittens without their person in the room. Real trust, inside a bond domestication already rewired. Useful as contrast. Not the mystery this channel is chasing. The mystery is the wild mother who still has every reason to run, and does not. Scientists can describe pieces of this. They cannot seal it shut. Start with the load-bearing idea. Trust as a survival filter, not a greeting card. A mother moves her young only toward places her nervous system has tagged safer than the alternative. When that place is a human hand, a human porch, a human-built nest, she is not performing. She is betting. In 2023, Griffin and colleagues reported in Royal Society Open Science on urban fallow deer. Offspring of females that regularly interacted with humans grew significantly faster than offspring of more avoidant females. Not a poem about friendship, a growth outcome tied to tolerance, less costly fear, energy saved, a developmental edge. Trust the wrong human, and it is fatal. Trust the right pattern of human presence, and it can pay in flesh and time. There is also the hormone story. In 2015, Nagasawa and colleagues showed in Science that dog owner gazing raised oxytocin in owners and fed affiliation back into dogs. Loop wolves in the same setup did not run the same way. That result is about dogs, not squirrels. Treat it as a clue that mammalian bonding chemistry can cross a relationship line, not as proof that every wild mother is running a lab study when she leads you to a nest. The chemistry may rhyme. The decision still outruns the graph. Every tidy theory hits the same wall. Why would a prey animal unmask her litter to someone who could end it? Why would a raccoon stake each new generation on the same porch? Why does the choice look less like a twitch and more like a judgment? The honest position is still uncomfortable. We can measure hormones, model tolerance, track growth rates, and still not fully explain the second when a wild animal files a human under safe. Animals have had thousands of years to read our hands, our doors, our habits of help and harm. What unsettles us is not that they notice us. It is that sometimes they entrust us with the one thing their biology treats as non-negotiable. Here is the part that is not about them. You know this feeling from the other side. Someone decides you are safe with bad news, with a secret, with a child, with a version of themselves that could be used against them, and the room changes temperature. You did not only receive information, you received a rank. You were sorted out of the general population of possible threats and into the tiny set of places a future is allowed to land. That sorting is one of the oldest human hungers there is. To be chosen as a shelter. To be the porch light, not the predator shape in the trees. So when a wild mother leads a human to newborns, the viral heat is not only cuteness, it is recognition. Something with no obligation to us. Something that should, by default, vote no, votes yes. That decision costs her more than it costs us. She risks the litter. We get to feel trusted. Sit with that imbalance. It is the mirror. We are moved because we know what the gesture would mean if a human made it. We know the weight of being told without a speech, you are safe enough for what I cannot replace. Growth rates are real. Oxytocin loops are real. A help-seeking route through rain to a clinic door is real. But the part that makes you lean toward the screen is older than the papers. It is the same quiet verdict you want from your own life. This one. Not everyone. This one. And that squirrel, the mother who took a woman's hand and walked her to the nest, was not only displaying young. She was saying, in the only language available to her body, her young were safer here. We still cannot fully explain why she said it to us. We can explain why we needed her to.